Abbas Mamode.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Before I address the Assembly about the 2019-2020 budget, I would like to point out that I will not criticize for the sake of criticizing or merely as a member of the opposition. I shall, as part of my duty, as a member of the Parliament and a representative of the population, highlight the shortcoming of this budget, bearing in mind the plight of the people of Mauritius. My dear colleagues present in the House, what does a budget mean to the Mauritian? Madam Speaker, a budget for our population is most importantly about improving people's life, delivering the best for our nation. A budget is what occupies the mind of almost everyone months before it is delivered and weeks after. It is the hope of many, the hope that after the budget, maybe finally it is a time that one will be able to invest in a house. Maybe they will see changes in their neighborhood. And above all, maybe caddie pour plus remplir la fin du mois. Unfortunately, once more, one more time, fourth time in a row, none of these will actually be materialized. Throughout my speech, Madam Speaker, I will elaborate on how this budget failed to meet up to expectation and is a repetition of unaccomplished previous budgetary measures together with unrealized electoral promises. Before proceeding further, Madam Speaker, in his reply to the leader of the opposition, PNQ of 17 June, that is yesterday, the Honorable Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, wrongly asserted that in 2011, when the leader of the opposition was Finance Minister, he had drawn down 1 billion from the Special Reserve Fund of the Bank of Mauritius. Madam Speaker, I would like to correct the Honorable Prime Minister's misconception and state that the Honorable Leader of the Opposition in actual fact transferred 1 billion rupees from the Special Reserve Fund to the stated and paid up capital of the Bank of Mauritius, thus strengthening the Bank of Mauritius share capital and its balance sheet. Madam Speaker, the proposal of the Honorable Prime Minister to draw 18 billion from the Banks of Mauritius Special Reserve to pay down public debt with, if acted upon, would severely weaken the Bank of Mauritius balance sheet, and for the Honorable Prime Minister to pretend otherwise is both reckless and imprudent. Madam Speaker, I am tabling the communiqué issued by the Honorable Leader of the Opposition, clarifying the Honorable Minister's misconception together with a copy of the balance sheet. Innocently, yet rightfully, it is everyone's aspiration to have access to the basic needs, one of which is having a place they can call home. From the very beginning, during the electoral campaign, it was promised that 10,000 houses would be built and priority would be given to the poor. In the 2015 and 2016 budget speech, the poor and middle-class people heard the plans of building houses for them, yet many of them as we are talking today, are still on the waiting list. Where are we with the construction of those decent dwellings, which the Prime Minister very beautifully and rightly termed in his 2018 speech? The Prime Minister himself referred to the waiting list, and I'll quote, "Today, I'm making a pledge to accelerate our program to construct decent houses and apartments for low-income families. Too many of them have been on the waiting list for too long. I'm pleased to announce that the NHDC will start a vast program of construction in 2018-2019. Our aim is to build 6,800 new social housing units over the next 2 years." End quote. Before moving on, I will highlight that it was not in the first or second budget that the Prime Minister was talking about the waiting list. It was in the third budget under his government, which means that he is hereby admitted the weaknesses in the social housing department under his government. Honorable Prime Minister, the population would like to know whether the list you made reference to is still there, has shortened, or names have only been added to it. How many of the 6,800 new social houses have been constructed and attributed actually? Questions are many, but as an answer, we get to know in the 2019 budget that 6,000 houses will be built. At the end of the day, the population is only confused with different numbers: 10,000, 6,000, 6,800, 6,000. Merely stating figures in the budget will not help the poor people, Madam Speaker. We cannot and will not upload such speeches. Honorable Salim is not here. We cannot and will not upload such speeches where plans are made, intentions are announced, but nothing is being done, Madam Speaker. In addition, it is stated that 11,000 people will receive internet freely, but it is more important to ask how many people who were devoid of electricity during the 4.5 years of this government mandate. Madam Speaker, it is highly heartbreaking to realize the reality that poverty still prevails in Mauritius. There is still a shortage of electricity in many Mauritian houses. Hence, I firmly believe that electricity is more essential than free internet. I cannot refrain myself, Madam Speaker, from referring to the past budgets to show how the present is to a large extent a replica of the past 4 speeches. How same measures are being presented to the population as new, like we say, with un petit maquillage par ici, par là. The repetition, a clear indication, Madam Speaker, that year after year, the government is tricking the population into believing that they are coming up with new projects, which in fact are projects they already presented in the past and were not materialized. Madam Speaker, I will talk briefly about Agalega, which fall under my constituency. In 2015 budget, chapter 151, it was mentioned that with the assistance of the Indian government, 750 million will be invested in the construction of a new airstrip and new jetty facilities. Budget 2017, Chapter 311. Again, it was mentioned that thanks to the financial assistance from India, a new runway as well as a jetty will be constructed. And when I read the 2019 budgetary measures concerning Agalega, it reads, our compatriots in Agalega will benefit from a new runway and a new jetty that will substantially improve air and sea connectivity. Works are progressing smoothly and are expected to be completed by February 2021. I understand that big projects take time to be completed, but same thing is being repeated again and again just to make the population believe that, the government is working very hard, making a runway, making a new jetty to facilitate the life of people of Agalega. According to the Honorable Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, works are expected to be completed in February 2021. I hope and believe that by that time, the new government will have new measures to present to the House to improve the daily life of the people of Agalega. Développement à l'envers, Madam Speaker. I'm not against development, but we are made to believe that progress is occurring regarding Agalega, but the situation is stating the contrary, Madam Speaker. It's now that houses are to be built, it seems that the people of Agalega come afterwards. Madam Speaker, we are still in the dark. Members of constituency number 3 are still in the dark, and we need more clarification concerning the issue of Agalega. Moving on, Madam Speaker, I will address the unemployment issue. I wish that I could sincerely congratulate the Honorable Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, and all the members at the other side of the House, or on the lowest rate of unemployment. Lowest rate of unemployment? Lowest rate? It is at least what they are saying. The Honorable Leader of the Opposition already explained in his speech on Thursday how it is in fact a farce. He also supported his arguments with figures, therefore I will briefly make my point on this. I think people in my constituency will testify that I'm indeed a politician of proximity. I stay a lot in contact with the youth sur le terrain, those young people, the younger generation, Madam Speaker, do not share the same opinion as my fellow friend of the majority concerning unemployment. As for them, whether the HSC holders or young graduates, they are still struggling. During the electoral campaign and previous budget, the youngsters had promises about job creation. Where are the jobs? What are at the door? We are at the door of the new elections. New promises will be made, some of which we have already started to hear the echoes. Les mesures qui vont être concrétisées en janvier. Madam Speaker, how can we expect our younger generation to have faith in our institutions in such case? On the other hand, in the 2019 budget, we have measures like introducing a post-study work visa to allow international students to work for 3 years in Mauritius after completion of undergraduate studies. I'm aware that it is further mentioned that this post-study work visa concerns sectors where there is scarcity of skills. But as a patriot, as a responsible representative of the people, I would applaud the Honorable Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance, if I read measures on tackling the issue of brain drain instead. In my endeavor to show how unaccomplished measures from previous budget are served to us in the 2019-2020 budget, how this budget is not a budget that has done justice to us all, as mentioned by Honorable Sinatambu. I will now talk about the health sector. I will ask the House to bear with me, as I will be reading chapters from past budget on healthcare. I assure you, Madam Speaker, that it breaks my heart to undertake such an exercise, but it is important to lay emphasis on how the past budgets fail, and in the same line, providing that the embracing a brighter future together as a nation budget is no exception. 2015 budget, chapter 158, read as follows. A number of new projects will be implemented, ranging from the setting up of a new cancer center to the implementation of the e-health project and to the construction of a new state-of-the-art ENT hospital. 2016 budget, chapter 230. A new ENT hospital will be constructed at Vakwa. Technical studies will be carried out on the construction of a new modern eye hospital at Moka. 2017 budget, chapter 234. 2 linear accelerators for the treatment of cancer patients at Victoria Hospital and the new cancer hospital and other high-tech equipment. 3 new mediclinics at Coche Militaire, Bel Air, and Stanley. 2 new community health centers at Saint-François-Xavier and L'Espérance. Construction of a modern warehouse facility for pharmaceutical drugs and medical consumables. 2018 budget, chapter 166. A warehouse for medical project, a new cancer center will be set up. 2019 budget, chapter 203. The e-health project will soon be implemented as a major reform in the public health sector, construct a modern warehouse for pharmaceutical products, complete the new cancer hospital and the ENT hospital, the construction of 4 other mediclinics at Coche Militaire, Stanley, Coromandel, Coromandel and Bel Air, and 7 health centers at Petit-Rivière, Béjitombo, Phoenix, Rochebois, Pointe-Sable, Grand Bay, and Saint-François. Madam Speaker, personally, I have nothing against the Honorable Minister of Health. I have nothing personal. However, we are talking about a serious aspect of the society here, and I can't remain insensible to some gaps. The healthcare, Madam Speaker, should have been one of the top priorities of this government. 4th budget, all we have, unfortunately and helplessly witnessed, is unaccomplished measures. E-health, 0. Dossier encore perdu dans l'hôpital. Just a little reminder, we are in 2019 and talking about artificial intelligence. New cancer center, 0. It's a pity to see how cancer patients have to wait for chemotherapy. The list is long, Madam Speaker. I can continue talking about the problem in the healthcare sector for hours, Madam Speaker. Concerning the community health centers, to mention one, despite being announced ample of time, Madam Speaker, in the budget, that a healthcare center will be set up at Saint-François-Xavier. There is no sign over there of such centers. Same for Pointe-Sable, Madam Speaker. Pour faire, the next government the next government will have to remediate to the delays and all types of problems ranging. Madam Speaker, the next government will have to remediate to the delays and all types of problems ranging from administrative issues to waiting time before actually getting a treatment. Regretfully, Madam Speaker, the new Minister of Health will have a lot to do in order to upgrade the healthcare sector. Despite announcements made in the past concerning modern warehouse for pharmaceutical products, we still have problems. I can only hope for the best in the next year budget with a new government. Furthermore, I expected that in this budget, effort would be made.
Honorable Jagru, don't interrupt the honorable.
Furthermore, Madam Speaker, I expected that in this budget, effort would be made to better analyze, understand, and treat the problem of climate change. In an era where the impact of climate change is getting more severe day by day, the nation expected more seriousness on the part of the government in treating the matter. I will start with the simplest effect of climate change, creating miseries to the nation, Madam Speaker, flood. In 2017, budget intentions were announced for providing drain projects at Pérébert, Fondissac, Flac, Saint-Pierre, Clémencia, Cancarol, Grandbois, Bellon, and a number of other high-risk areas across the island. People were very happy. They were hoping that in the near future, at that moment in time, at that time, Madam Speaker, they would no longer have to fear for their lives, run to community centers, in short, not to leave the trauma of floods. What happened, Madam Speaker? In 2019 budget, in the short paragraph dedicated to climate change, we get to know that to date, works at Fondissac have already started. Intention made in 2017, and 2 years later, all we get is works have already started. In a nutshell, this is what has been done in this budget. They took measures announced in the past. In some cases, label the latter as work in progress, while in others, simply like I said earlier, met and tigit maquillage, presented as new. It is a very good thing to consider using renewable energy. It is commendable that the government is making attempts to contribute on national level in decelerating global warming. On the other side, Madam Speaker, we must not forget that we are more concerned with the effect of climate change rather than causing climate change. Therefore, priority should be given to educating our population on how to prepare themselves. Climate change is real. It is a fact that our island has and will be impacted. So, the government should consider instructing the islanders about how to live with it. We cannot continue to build houses like we did before. People should know about flooding problem, areas at risk, and so on. One will not acquire this knowledge on his or her own. We must initiate campaign, groups to instruct the nation about climate change. And I maintain, not only about how we can help to slow down, but also how we need to adapt our lifestyle with the effect so as not to be in further distress. Moreover, bien sagin, mauvaise manière.
Honorable Abbas
No,
Mamode,
what he's
please
done.
proceed with your speech. It's up to me to draw the attention of any honorable member if they are misbehaving.
Moreover, Madam Speaker, the government made enormous claim, expressed their plan and intention, but fell short of on delivery when it comes to the 24/7 water supply. Water around the clock. Water around the clock. What happened to that? The presentation of the last budget is behind us. Election is at the threshold, but no 24/7 water. Pani naiba, Madam Speaker. The country and the population can feel the effects of flood and drought at the same time. It is indeed the effect of climate change, but we cannot remain idle. We cannot remain idle, Madam Speaker. New water collection system should have been on the agenda of the government. I know they will say there are projects, things are being done. Nonetheless, Madam Speaker, results are not here at the end of the day. What the nation expects from the government is result. Pas travail là pour faire. Gouvernement pour faire. At the end of the day, what the nation expects, Madam Speaker, from a government is results. They were not elected by the population to year in, year out, express the intention which on paper might seem admirable. And in reality, nothing is being done. Résultat là, pas là. I would also like to make some point on tourism sector, Madam Speaker. The figures are quite alarming, especially when we look at what is happening in the sugarcane and manufacturing sector. Tourism sector is an informal language. We can say is our lifeline. Being one of the pillars of the Mauritian economy, the most important pillar, this sector deserves more careful analysis from the government. When we consider the ratio of our importation and exportation, the depth of the government, the situation in the manufacturing sector, it becomes even more frightening to see the direction that tourism has taken recently. The downfall in the tourism industry is indeed to be treated as quickly and efficiently as possible. If Mauritius as a product is no more appealing, visitors are starting to sulk Mauritius, then immediate action to be taken should be rebranding of the product. Why not considering ecotourism? More time and more energy should be put in this direction. Many African countries like South Africa, Kenya, are already benefiting from ecotourism. And here in Mauritius, what are we doing? Nous en colère, nous berotsicanek reke. Irresponsible statement of our leaders on the fauna will in no way encourage eco-friendly tourists to come to our island. Across the globe, younger and older generations are becoming more and more environmentally friendly. Of course, in relation to what is happening, global warming, climate change, and all. We have to care for our image, Madam Speaker. National campaign of cleanliness will be in a way or the other benefit the tourist industry. What I deduce the Honorable Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, mean in Chapter 112, cleanliness campaign has been on the agenda for a long time. I am not discrediting such initiative, but it is time we also lay more emphasis on sensitization campaign and penalties. We pollute to them, we pollute, we are polluters to them, we clean. We need to educate and warn the population to keep the island cleaner and should not delay any further on this. Like we say, prevention is better than cure. The leader of the PMSD, Honorable Xavier Duval, did such a beautiful work in the tourist sector. I hope that in the next mandate, the next government will be able to refuel this sector and be more innovative than the present one. Furthermore, I will briefly express my disappointment to the measures taken in the education sector. First, from what we can see in the different media of what is happening in our schools, I believe that 34 disciplinary masters are not enough, Madam Speaker. Second, every now and then programs are introduced. This time it is a leader in me. But all these are not efficient. It demonstrates in decreasing number of students actually getting credit in SC, school certificate. Like I say at the beginning of my speech, I will not criticize just for the sake of criticizing. Hence, I will congratulate the government on the intention of equipping 20 state secondary schools with ramp, handrail, and adapted toilet for disabled students, hoping they will make an exception this time and will materialize their intention. I cannot and will not end without some example of several failures to keep promises in my own constituency. If the elected member from my constituency, who is on the other side of the house, would walk on the street, exchange with the people and listen to their plight, maybe the situation would have been better. As a member of the parliament, even though in the opposition, I'm trying my best to improve things, but some from the majority would be more than welcome. Youngsters are still jobless. The young people of Rochebois still feel marginalized, yet the government claims they are working toward integration, meritocracy. Ça laisse à désirer. Idriss Goumani, the only social hall, the only place where sport indoor is closed for more than 2 years. Jardin de la Plaine état déplorable. Insecurity is
There's too
still
much
reign.
noise in the house, please.
In this budget, it is announced that 1.2 billion will be invested in infrastructural projects such as gymnasium at Stanley Rosil, football field at Puerto Sab, Trainbar Valley Pitou, and several other projects across the island. I will not get into detail, Madam Speaker, about where they will get money to fund all this. They are very good at making announcements, very good. But what about maintenance, the existing football pitch, children corner? Yesterday night I raised a matter to Honorable Vice Prime Minister. What was her reply? Tous les enfants de Maurice cassés. I suppose the Minister of Local Administration is aware of the state in which the Jardin de la Plaine is, how the different playgrounds need to be renovated, yet nothing. I think it is better to make petite annonce. Faire la population croire qu'il beaucoup posé peut mettre en place pour eux.
Please, I have allowed the Creole language to a certain extent. But let me remind the House that as yet, the Creole language is not accepted in this House.
Bear with me. Before ending my speech, the Honorable Secretary Sudan is not here. Yesterday, I suppose, he said that he went to meet people in Phoenix or New York. They were all very happy. I would like to invite him to have a round in La Cité Martiale and in the shop in Plaine Verte, at Saint-Sakier Street and surrounding, in order to take notice if the merchants are happy or not, whether they are working or they are actually undergoing a highly, Madam Speaker, a highly recession period. On an ended note, Madam Speaker, as this is the last budget before the elections, and therefore the last budgetary debate, I will seize the opportunity to salute all my friends on the opposition side, and especially from the PMSD, the former Deputy Prime Minister and present leader of the opposition, former ministers, Honorable Dan Babu, Honorable Oro Perot, Thierry Henry, who was PPS, just like me. We did not hesitate to leave. We did not hesitate to leave the government. As for us, the nation comes first. For us, the nation comes first. Prosecution bill. We could not be part of certain decisions which were unfair to the population. For this, I'm proud. I'm proud to be a member of the PMSD. I'm proud to be on this side of the House, Madam Speaker. Summing up on my analysis, which I believe is the same for most of the population, I would say that it was a budget that does not really give us indication or vision for a brighter tomorrow. It rather provokes, Madam Speaker, a sense of fear for the future. Luckily, the elections are not far. It is a budget of repetition of past and accomplished measures, intention and plan. God knows if at least some of these will see the day or not. I cannot be too optimistic on that. Thank you, Madam Speaker.